I wanted to give us a chance to introduce ourselves, say hi. Scipio, do you want to come up on stage? Ella, nice to see you. Machi, big bro, do
Hello.
you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. So happy to be able to finally get into this AMA and meet everyone and play together later.
Great, thanks. Scipio, how's it going, man?
Hey everybody, I'm doing good. I'm excited to see so many faces here, and excited we get to get our game on.
Great, thanks a lot. I'm big bro, Machi. Glad you can make it. How you doing?
Oh, good. Here to win.
That's
Even though
right.
there's no prize yet, but it'll be fun killing people and wearing their body parts. Yeah.
That was the prize all along, and the friends we made.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, everyone. We wouldn't be here without all of us, and the team's really been working hard. So this alpha is going to be a good example of the work that we've been doing, and we'll give you a nice game to play. And so we're really looking forward to it. So how matches will work and how the launch window will work is the launch window will start today, and people will be able to start playing the game as soon as we launch the matches. And so right now we have about 62 people. So we'll start a few matches of likely 10 versus 10, and we'll try and make sure that matches are full and that games are balanced. So that will be because the matches are full. So we will be able to play until the new year. So January 1st is when we will close alpha testing, and that will be so we can go back in and refine things. And I'll talk a little bit more about the future towards the end. So between now and the alpha window, you'll be able to play, use your characters, get a feel for things. But reminder, this is alpha, so everything that we do is going to be in balance and will change anytime that we think that there's issue with a skill, we'll try and address it. But for the most part, the alpha build is going to try and be um, what we have presented today, and we'll let the meta kind of establish, and we'll get a feel for where power was and if someone was too strong. And then when we go into the future, we'll definitely be making a lot more changes. So this is a reminder, if you're testing and you find any bugs, we have a public GitHub repo. So Evermore bugs/issues, and we'll post that link. And so that's the main thing. If you find any issues during this alpha test, please report them there, and we'll address them. This is an early test, so please be kind. We definitely have done a lot of playtesting, but there might be things that we haven't seen. So I also want to go a little bit about maybe how you could pick your character and some of the ideas behind picking a character. We wanted to make sure that all the characters were acceptable and great to play with. So there's no wrong character to pick. And as I said, that there's balance that we're going to be doing. So if you pick a character, you should be good. We've made it so that not everyone is going to be melted in an instant, and all the stats kind of play an important balance. So if you're a healer, having intelligence is important, having strength and constitution is important. But what those stats mean is kind of been established through other games, and we kept a lot of that idea in this alpha. So even like how stats work could change in the future, but constitution will establish your amount of hit points that your character has. So you'll be able to have more hit points when you start, and as you level, you'll get more hit points, which means that you'll be able to take damage and soak damage easier. Intelligence will affect spell damage and healing. Wisdom is generally used as a support skill and will support a lot of different features in an additive way, but won't be the main attribute used, and there are other skills that will use agility for speed characters. So agility and strength will both play an important role in skills. So just because you don't have strength doesn't mean you won't be able to hit hard. It just means you might have to use your skills. And so we've definitely balanced a lot of the damage to skill ratio. So if anything feels off there, let's also kind of bring that up. So that's really how you can pick a character from the stats. The other key thing is that there's an alignment aspect to characters. So you can either be a light hero or a dark hero. And the alignment is fixed basically if you are a character that dwells underground and don't see the light of day, often such as an orc or vampires or things like that. Or you are not within the bounds of like the normal society, and power and kind of strength are what you favor, then you're usually on the dark side, and folk creatures like elves and dwarves and creatures that live above ground are the light dwellers. So that's where the alignment comes in. There is also a group of characters that are neutral. So humans are neutral characters, and they can play either light or dark. At the start of the match, they can choose. And there are certain classes that can pick either side as well. So those are mercenaries, because mercenaries fight for money. We've got nomads because they're loners, and we've got marauders because they're a group of outside nomadic tribesmen as well. So if you're any of those three classes or humans, you're able to pick either side, and you're not forced to your nature of your class, your race. So that's kind of how you pick a character, what your character's choices mean for your alignment. I want to go over a little bit about how you play a mud. Scipio, are you there?
Yep.
So you want to talk a little bit about some of the common commands that we have, and like how we've used them to make fighting more effective, and how someone can approach this game that they might not have ever mudded before.
Sure. So I'm sure most of you are probably fairly familiar with MUDs, but there's definitely folks here who aren't. MUDs traditionally are all text-based commands, so it's kind of like a terminal. You have to type commands like, kill human, or follow Needmere, or get sword, wield sword, etc. And so we have pretty much all the basic commands you would expect in a MUD. But what we've also done is we've been developing a client, which is how everyone is connecting to the game, in the browser with kind of a more modern interface. And so right now, when you log into the game, you can hit, I think it starts in text mode, but you can always hit you can hit shift twice in like rapid succession to toggle between text mode and arcade mode. And when you go to arcade mode, then it's like a WASD controls. And you can also, there's also a bunch of stuff you can do to click on different targets or group members as well. And there's also a hotbar with your abilities on it. So in arcade mode, you can use WASD to move around, and you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to use your skills. You can also, in text mode, if you like, you can literally type, like, let's say your mercenaries have a skill called headbutt. If headbutt is the number 3 on your hotbar, in text mode, you can actually just type, 3 gnome to headbutt gnome. So they kind of are also function as aliases too. Probably one of the biggest kind of strategic parts of it all is movement, and following plays a big part of that. So when you follow in a MUD is kind of like a stick command in EverQuest and other MMOs, it literally is like it sticks you to another player, to one of your group mates, and whenever they move, you go with them. And you can still move, like you can run away from them and go your own direction. But if your paths cross again, you're going to stick back to them again until you unfollow them. And you can actually, by hovering your mouse over what's called the group panel, where your group mates are in the client, when you hover your mouse over there, you can either follow people, or you can unfollow people, or you can ditch people, which causes them to stop following you. Yeah. So other things that might be helpful, you traditionally in a MUD is a who command, which will show you who's all in the game. And in this case, this is kind of our early prototype of like the scoreboard. If you think like holding down tab in League of Legends. And so right now you need to be in text mode to use it. But you type who, and it'll tell you everyone's names and what level they are in their classes and races and how much EXP they have and their kills and deaths and stuff like that. That's kind of helpful. Score is these. So this is also in purely a text mode, but score, SCORE, is what you can do to look at your character's kind of stats. Yeah. So other than that, maybe one other thing that's not implemented in the arcade mode at the moment, but is going to be helpful, is manipulating items. And so basically, if you see an item on the ground or on somebody's corpse, you can type get item, get sword, get earring corpse. If there's an earring on the corpse, get earring corpse will do it. And then to wear it, it's usually wear or wield for a weapon. But you could type wear earring, and your character will put it on. And then when you type score, you'll see what the stats are or how they changed. A lot of this stuff is pretty early, so the equipment, is really basic at the moment, and we have a lot in the works. But this is kind of the minimum thing. So maybe the last thing I'll say is just on team fights. This is definitely a team-based game, and so there's maybe the biggest component of any match is going to be how your team works together. And some of those things, there's a bunch of different skills. We're gonna let you guys explore them and experiment with them. But there's skills that knock your opponents down and prevent them from casting spells or using their skills or moving. And that kind of like crowd control is a big deal. And so the coordination between your healers and your DPS and your tanks are going to be big. And being able to follow each other, which you can do in arcade mode, is a big part of that. Okay, I think I'm pretty much there. The one other thing I'll say is that you can, in the group panel, you can click to target your teammates. And you can also, on what's called the targets panel, you can click to target your enemies. And this is generally working quite well, but there are some instances when it doesn't work. And one of them is like when you get bashed or something happens that lags you. Sometimes when you use a skill, most skills cost like a little bit of lag to use. So when you use it, it kind of like freezes your character for, some portion of a second or maybe a couple seconds. And so those panels right now are affected by that lag. So if you use a skill and right away you try and target somebody else on the panel, it might not work right away. So it works best when your character is not lagged. But you can click and target your group mates, and then you can hit, if you're a healer, you can click on a group mate and hit 3 or whatever it is to cast a heal on them, or a hot or a mass heal. and same with the enemies. You can click the targets on the target panel, and you can hit your skill numbers to use them on them. Also, if you don't have a target, most of these things are pretty good about finding an auto target. So if you run into a room and hit headbutt, it's going to automatically find the closest person to you, and it's going to whack them. Yeah, is there anything you guys can think of I'm missing here?
I think that's great.
Let's go.
Yes, thanks a lot, Scipio. Yeah, one of the other things worth mentioning is when you die, you will remain on the floor watching what happens in the room for a little bit, unable to move until you respawn. So you potentially will see your friends get killed or watch them successfully kill your enemies. So once you die, you will respawn somewhere back on your side.
Also, two little things I forgot are the flee command, which if you're in text mode, you type flee, but in arcade mode, you just hit F, and that'll get your character will attempt to run out of the room, which is a really important thing to know how to do. Learn how to run, because you'll probably be doing some running. And also the other part of that is Q. Q is the arcade mode hotkey for kill. So if you want to run into a room and attack somebody, but you don't want to use a skill or a spell, you just run in and hit Q.
Great. Thank you. I think I'm going to pass it to Ella. Ella, are you there?
I am here. So a little fun fact and intro to me. Prior to Battle of Evermore, I had never played a mud game. I play FPS games 5+ hours a day because I'm a streamer. So going into the game, I was lost and confused, but I was really excited because gaming is one of my passions and this space is another. The only thing I could figure out when I first got into the game was how to move because it's the basic controls similar to other PC games, which is the keybinds WASD, which is north, south, west, east. I couldn't even figure out where I was moving. In simple terms, there's this map that shows you where you're moving and when you've come across a target or ally. So then once I figured that out, the rest started making sense to me. And the more I understood, the bigger the smile on my face was. I was even able to get 2 kills in. But keep in mind, that was my first ever time playing a mud game. I'm only going to get better, so watch your back. Also, as you've seen, I've been setting up some bots for the server. One of the bots is an XP bot. As I mentioned earlier, the roles you're working to obtain aren't purely cosmetic. They actually come with some super cool rewards. So level 10 will come with a special hero Pope, which, I mean, how cool is that? And level 17 will get you access to the Alpha Pass to keep playing even after the window closes on January 1st. And then finally, level 25 will come with really cool special NFT equipment, which is the money boots. They're a part of the future equipment drop, and they're a limited edition item. You'll also be able to flex power with them. Penguin, is there anything else that I am forgetting?
That's great. Thanks a lot, Ella. And I really appreciate your insight as someone that hasn't played mud. And we really want to make the game as accessible as we can for people and fun to play. So thank you for your input.
Yeah, and as I think Scipio mentioned, there's an arcade mode and the regular text mode. So it's super user friendly and it's easy to learn. It's a super fun game, and I'm really excited to play some matches with you guys and girls.
Thank you. So the other thing is we made it a web client, so you can pretty much play on any device. We've gotten reports that people like to play on a tablet, so it works on iPad pretty well, I'm told. So we've really taken a lot of care to make it accessible to pretty much anyone. You don't need to download a mud client and we really took a lot of care to upgrade it and make it more modern and fast. So
Yeah, and just to jump in here for a second, most of the testing that we've done has been on browsers, and so if there are weird quirks that happen because you're playing on a tablet, please report them because we have not been actively looking for them.
Exactly. So that kind of gets me to the part about the future, where we're going, what's the roadmap, and what can you expect from us in kind of like the medium term. And so obviously, the next thing that's going to be coming, and what we've talked about before, are items, and part of what makes a game unique and being able to have the upgradable upgrade to your character are getting items and being able to wear them. So we've got the basic items in the game that come from your enemies, but we're also going to be having a future upcoming drop, and so the people that have the swords or bows and things on their characters will be able to get special items from that item drop, just like with the muddy boots if you reach max level for the XP. And you can get XP all through the alpha by sending messages and participating and posting in the Twitter raids, doing memes, all those kind of things will help make sure that you can get some of the special drops that we're doing. Also, that's how you'll be able to get some of the utility from your characters that look rare. So we're also going to be expanding on the maps. We're going to be making new maps, new areas. I said that before. So the map right now we have is pretty balanced. It's got some good choke points. But as we build these other areas out, we're going to make sure that the maps fit the area, that they look a little bit different, that they have more feel to them. And then we also want to really expand the maps in a single area, so that if you fight in the forest, you're not fighting in the forest same map every time. So that's going to be coming in the beta. We're definitely going to be filling out a lot more skills. We're going to be introducing the new kind of features for classes. Right now everyone is using energy and mana, but there's a few more different energy classes that we'll be introducing. And then the big thing are game modes. So right now we've presented the game mode that's similar to a MOBA. Obviously this is not a traditional MUD. We know that to make a solid game, we've got to make sure that player versus player interaction is solid and that combat works and is fun and is balanced before we can really dive into the full game. So that's why for the MVP it's very much focused on a battlefield. So battle for Evermore, you're going to be battling, and the main goal of each mode is to kill the boss. Right now we have the ability to extend what that means and the limits and kind of the different modes. So we'll probably handle that in the upcoming future. So basically after that, I wanted to get us started on launching some matches. I wanted to answer some questions from you guys before that. We've had a lot of progress and a lot of kind of heads down working. I'm sure there's a lot of questions. Also, a lot of the future upgrades are going to come in making the website look great. Fearless Thompson is in the crowd. He has done some amazing designs that we will be implementing in the future too. So everything right now, from the website to the game, is early, and we're working on it every day, very hard. So now I will.
What's the URL?
That's a good question. So alpha is the link. I'm going to drop it in game questions right now. There.
I wanted to say something real fast, Penguin. Just so you'll see up in the upper right-hand corner is the mini map, and right now the mini map will pretty much exclusively show you, and so that's normal. The full shared team vision and fog of war and seeing enemies and stuff is something we have slated for the beta. Just to say.
I will say another really cool feature that is super helpful for getting around and knowing what's happening on the map are heat. We have a feature that will show you where fights are on the map as well. So look out for the red X if you don't know where something's happening, but I recommend staying with your group. So the link that I posted is to an about page. That about page has a lot of the info that we gave out today, including the link, how to play, a few images. The images are outdated already. We fixed a lot of the issues on there. So we'll be changing those as well and updating that. But the about page should give you pretty much all the info. So I'm going to now SG to start a match.
Yeah, let me go run some commands and see what happens.
Okay. So after this stage, we're going to break, and I open 2 different voice channels in guilds. So we've got Alpha Light and we've got Alpha Dark. Depending on which character you have predominantly or you're going to be playing with, I recommend getting into one of those voice channels. Figure out who's going to be playing people of your alignment. The guilds were originally set up so that you could find people that you wanted to play with, and it's a little chaotic. But I think after people get in there and start playing with it, you'll see that a lot more. So.
Oh look, there's a match.
One other thing we forgot also is that the game ends after 30 minutes or when you manage to kill the other team's king. And the kings are pretty buff, so you're going to have to level up and work together to take out their king.
So yeah, and there's a match up right now that 6 people have already joined. Whoa, 14. Wow. Yep. That filled up pretty quick.
So first match is
in like 9 minutes.
One more on the light side.
And that's full. Okay. Neat.
So that match will start in 9 minutes. Can we start
20,
another one?
20 out of 10. Nice. I should fix that bug. I will start another one.
Great.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that right now, technically, one player can join multiple matches at the same time. This is alpha. That will change. We just wanted to make sure that like people don't have a shitty experience. But like, please don't be a jerk in terms of if you've joined one match that's opening in like 5 minutes, please don't join another one that's opening in 6 minutes because you're really only going to be playing one of them. But I'm going to open, I guess, I'll open another match, yeah.
I did not get in on the first match. Did anyone from the team get in on the first match?
Nope, I didn't.
Well, I will be streaming.
Opening second now.
I'm going to join the second one, and I will be streaming the second one from my perspective. I will join as Needmure.
So if you're in the first match, please don't join the second one, just because that doesn't make any sense. They're running at the same time. And then after these ones, which run, each match is about half an hour long. After those run, we'll open up some more after. So don't worry, more matches are coming.
Yep, and we'll open matches throughout the week, as long as there's people to fill matches. We'll try and run them. So specifically, we'll be looking at the evening times and whenever we have high activity in the Discord. So I recommend.
Yeah, they'll be controlled by us. Like match opening will be controlled by us manually, at the moment. And if we do see like a huge need of people just like constantly wanting these at all hours, we'll figure something out.
Also, if you would like to stream, feel free to post your link to your stream in the Discord so other people can watch. Or if any of you have screen recording software and feel like it, we'd greatly appreciate any recordings you take.
Yeah, the only ask is that if you find a bug, please report it. Don't just sit on it and exploit it all day. We're trying to make this a fun game for everyone. But share anything you find. Like, stream videos, take pictures, go do social media. Yeah, tell your friends.
So, thanks a lot for sticking around. I also have a Pope from the Alpha launch, so I'll drop the Pope links. And yeah, please take one Pope. And we got matches starting soon, so I'll see you guys on the battlefield. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks so much, everyone. See you later.